Ow.
That's me.
You want to know something surprising?
Yeah?
We've not done an episode about this game yet that we're talking about today.
Oh, like this isn't one of those like I finally played it and we're doing a follow-up type thing?
Right.
Awesome. Good job. I'm glad that I'm not gonna like goof it up. I'm sure we'll have to at some point in the series with six,
And
but
two.
and two. Okay.
But yes, we only talked about this, I think, maybe on the 2017 Game of the Year episode.
Oh, wow.
We had not talked about this game prior to that.
Wow.
But now we're going to talk about it today.
Yay.
Yay, indeed. Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Season Lamb Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, and manga. Hello, I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc, Al, and Anne Ladyem.
Hello.
This is episode 217.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the first in our new series that we're doing this year. It's called Al Experiences the Yakuza series.
It's true.
We're going through all the Yakuza games.
This is installment 1.
Installment 1 of 8. Because we won't do 7. Because we've already done 7.
We've already done 7, but we have to do Judgment 2, correct?
Yeah, so that's 7 Yakuza games in Judgment.
Nice.
So there you go.
Nice.
Yeah, this kind of just started as a whim where I was just like, hey, do you want to watch me play through the Yakuza games? Because you like 7 so much?
Yeah, I really liked 7, and I was kind of bummed that I didn't play it. But I was interested in the story and got way more into it than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
And then you texted and you were like, hey, what if we did this thing? I was like, yeah, sure, that sounds fun.
And here we are.
Here we are. And there's a lot that can be said about where we are now, but this is the thing we're doing.
It is true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we basically are doing these in chronological story order, not in like release order. So we started with 0, and then we're gonna make our way all the way up to 6, and then play Judgment after that or something like that. We'll figure that out as we go along. But yeah, I figured starting with 0 would be the easiest way to do this because it is technically the prequel to the series and everything, and it would just make a lot more. It would make a lot more things make sense later on as we go through the subsequent games and everything. And I think as well, it really helps when you get to Yakuza 1 to kind of make that game just a lot better in general than if you were just playing it first and then be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I completely agree that this added a lot more weight to Yakuza 1, and I am pleased that this is the way that you had us do it. Because I think that this is the right way to do it if you're new to the series.
Yeah.
I mean, like, ignoring the fact that I've experienced 7. But, yeah. It just made things hit a lot harder and hit their mark very well with 1.
So yeah. So this game came out originally in Japan on March 12, 2015 for the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. It would not come out worldwide until like 2 years later on January 24th, 2017 for the PS4. Eventually came to the personal computer on August 1st, 2018, and then on the Xbox family of systems on February 26th, 2020. Also, it is worth mentioning, oh boy. Okay, hello, welcome back.
Hi.
Internet hiccups.
Or as I texted you, internet fart.
Yes, I was going through release info for the fine folks at home while you were away.
Okay, I'm back now. Hello.
So you didn't really miss anything.
Okay.
I was about to say, this game really legitimately revitalized the Yakuza series in like not Japanese territories, where this series was really on its last legs in terms of like games getting localized over here and anything. Like, it was legitimately a big deal when Sony did one of their, do you remember when Sony was doing like December events where they have like a fan thing, and then they would go out and do kind of like here's a mini E3 thing where we're going to talk about not really big games, but kind of like some weird games here and there.
Yep.
So they did one of those, and like they announced like, oh, we're gonna bring Yakuza 5 over, and everyone was like, oh my god, I can't believe they're bringing Yakuza 5 over. And it was like well after the fact and everything. Um, and then this game came out, and I think it was just like it was the right style and setting that really just like kind of pulled a lot of people in that might not have like tried out the Yakuza series before on PS3 or PS2. Because really, this game has a lot of style, and that's a very big benefit for this game in order to like really like get its hooks in on people who might not check it out otherwise.
Can confirm, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yeah, so like essentially this is a prequel to the rest of the series. Like this came out after 5. So there's 5 games after this, obviously. And it takes place in December of 1988 in Japan, where, you know, Japan's having this huge like financial boom. The economy is just blowing up. Everyone has so much money they don't know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just a lot of like excess wealth just being flaunted and everything, and that really kind of plays into just the game itself, where you see a lot of that going on with like characters and everything, and like literally the way you like level up your abilities in this game is you spend money on yourself.
Yeah.
Because you will just have so much money that like that's just the way to do it.
Yep.
It is very over the top, but like it works incredibly well because like it's just a really like fun setting to be in and just like walk around.
And it's not like blatant that like, oh man, everybody's got money, but there are just like little subtle things here and there that you're like, oh, okay, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
It's good. Also, I was almost a year old when this game took place, apparently.
Didn't even exist yet.
You didn't even exist.
Oh no.
Aww.
Let's talk a little bit about the development before we dive into some gameplay and story stuff.
Okay.
The Wikipedia doesn't have a whole lot, unfortunately, but
it happens.
Yeah. This game was first announced in a special Yakuza event on August 24th, 2014 with a trailer. This is a very weird way to phrase this sentence, but this is how it starts. 30 most popular AV idols, as voted by fans in an earlier poll, were also announced to make cameo appearances in the game, with the top 10 having more significant roles. The top 5 would appear as the highest tier hostesses in the Cabaret Club minigame.
Oh, that's what happened.
Yeah. A Chinese language localization of the game was announced in 2014 and eventually released in Asia in May 2015. Shona no Kaze performed the game's main theme and ending theme, Bubble and Kurenai, respectively. These songs were not licensed for the English release and were instead replaced by original instrumental tracks.
Lame.
The Chinese localization of the game replaces late game character Lao Gui, Chinese hired assassin of the Dojima family, with a face model of Hong Kong actor Sam Lee. Just that's a very weird change, but okay.
That is a weird change.
On December 5th, 2015, at the PlayStation Experience in San Francisco, Sony announced that Yakuza 0 would be coming to America for the PS4. Initially, no official confirmation was made of a European release. In July 2016, it was announced that the game would release in North America and Europe for the PlayStation 4 in January 2017. Western localization of the game was led by Scott Strickart, associate producer of Atlas USA, who has localized Yakuza Kiwami, Yakuza Kiwami 2, and Yakuza 6. The team took a year and a half to localize Yakuza 0, which has 1.8 million Japanese characters, nearly twice as many as the average JRPG, which has 1 to 1.2 million Japanese characters.
Wow.
Which it makes sense. Like, there's a lot of text in this game.
There is a lot of text in this game.
In addition to challenges translating tone and humor, Strickert's team at Atlas had difficulties localizing traditional Asian games, including Mahjong and Shogi. In order to make these minigames accessible to Western audiences, Atlas had to provide detailed rules alongside gameplay. During the localization process, Strickert said the team wrote a total of 34 pages of Mahjong explanation. Because, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm. It's dedication.
So, yeah, like we said, this game did a whole lot to like really revitalize the Yakuza series overseas and everything. Where, like, you know, we pretty much get the new games like within a year of them coming out in Japan now, which is a very quick turnaround compared to how it used to be.
Yeah. And,
you know, we're basically getting every game now. Like, the only games like that of the Yakuza games that they haven't brought out over here is like Yakuza Online, which is just a weird thing in of itself.
Weird.
Which that's also the first time or the first game that features Ichiban as the protagonist.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then like the feudal era Yakuza games that they did for PS3.
Weird.
So yeah, there is a lot to do in Yakuza 0
Mm-hmm.
because obviously, there is a big, long, overarching story that uh, involves our deuteragonist of course, Kazuma Kiryu, the
Mm-hmm.
main protagonist of all of the other games in the series, and also his deuteragonist, Goro Majima, a character that you run into a lot throughout the rest of the Yakuza games, but I believe this is the first time he's like an actual playable character. And really, like, a lot of the story revolves around like Majima and like really fleshing out that character in terms of like how does Majima become the Majima of the later
That we
games.
that we know.
Yes. It does I think a really good job of just like making that character into like something more than what it already had been.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, like I had only seen him a little bit, um, enough that when you told me that like he was originally voiced by Mark Hamill, I was like, yeah, okay, that makes total sense.
Mhm.
Um, so he was kind of like a like unhinged kind of guy.
Yeah.
Um, and then we got to this. I was like, oh, okay, okay, okay. Let's humanize this guy a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
make him less terrifying-ish. I
uh,
say is like the man didn't catch a blade with his teeth and also just like kick blades into people's shoulders and guts and things like that.
as you do.
Yeah, he didn't kill a man.
The game also takes place across both Kamurocho and Sotenbori, which is obviously recreations of Tokyo's Kabuchiko and Osaka's Dotonbori areas.
Mm-hmm.
These areas obviously have been in other games as well, but they are 80s-ified in this game in particular. So you get to see like a lot of like giant light boards where they're trying to make everything very flashy. Club Sega's very like retro looking and everything. It does a really good job of kind of just like capturing the feel of like, oh, this looks and feels like the 80s.
Yeah, some things are a bit grungy.
Yeah, a little grungy. There's a
Yeah.
lot of mini games you can do, of course. Like, you can play classic Sega arcade games like Outrun, Super Hang-On, Space Harrier, and Fantasy Zone. You can go bowling. You can go fishing. You can play all sorts of Japanese gambling games, or just like games of that ilk and nature and everything. The two big prominent mini games in this are there's a real estate business that Kiryu does where you have to go around and buy businesses and accrue money that way, and eventually you take on these various bosses that run each area, and that funnels into a main boss in particular. And then Majima has the cabaret club mini game where you run a cabaret club and you have to go against these 5 other cabaret clubs and take them down. And then eventually you go against the boss of all of those and everything. They're very similar kind of an aspect, but both games have very different aspects and playability between the two of them. And that's kind of how like you are able to. That's the big way you're able to accrue a lot of money in this game is by doing both of those mini games.
Get our 80s riches.
Yes, the Majima side I think is a little bit easier because it's like, oh, just beat these people and we'll just give you like 1 billion yen.
Yeah. Yeah, we had
No
a
questions
lot
asked.
of money as Majima.
We did have a lot of money. It's also just a bunch of side stories and everything that run the gamut of just weird stuff throughout, that's just atypical of these games in particular. So it's nothing new, but like there's a lot of just like good wacky stuff that is scattered throughout. And then all of those, like there's a lot of times like those side stories will kind of funnel back into like the bigger mini games. So like if you run into people on Kiryu's side, some of them might be like, oh, they'll show up in front of your office and be like, oh, I'll come work for you now. And then vice versa for Majima, where some of them will be like, show up in front of the cabaret club and be like, oh, I'll come work for you now.
And then some also are like hints towards the later series.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of like references and fan servicey moments where like you'll be like, oh,
I
here's.
don't get all of them.
Yes, of course. Like they're like, oh, here's this character that's younger and shows up, and it's like, oh, that's a fun little thing. Or like some character will tell you like, oh, this is what's going to happen to you in the future, and it's all literal stuff that happens in the future of the series. So yeah, it's very much just like a love letter to the entire series and to like the fans of it, where it's filled with just like goofy references like that. That's like, oh yeah, I know what you're getting at right there. Oh, I get that one. If you played those games, for you, you're just like, yeah, okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool. And then of course, you have to hang out with fun characters like Mr. Libido,
Mr. Libido, our boy.
who just loves to dance and talk about ladies and just get his rocks off.
Yeah, he likes to talk about cranking it.
He does like to talk about cranking it.
I was trying to think of a way to say that without you having to edit it.
That's the easiest way to say it. He just loves
Like
cranking it.
he loves that and he likes going to the bone zone and he just
Not
runs
wearing
around in
clothes.
his like tennis shoes and undies. Like he's got on his tighty whities and like his tennis shoes or his sneakers, whatever people out in the universe that aren't me call them. Um and he's just like this goofy looking dude that and also like sometimes just shows up in cutscenes
His introduction when he just randomly shows up in the at the Odyssey,
at the
and you just see
Odyssey.
him in the background just dancing, and Machima's like, "What on earth is that?" Is the best.
I had the exact same reaction though. I was like, what is going on back there?
It's very good.
But then like he became our best friend.
He did. Yeah, we became full friends with that boy.
Yeah, we did.
We helped him through his trials and tribulations of trying to crank it,
It's true, we did.
which
And
also
then we
led
just
us
kept
on
looking
a
for him.
which it also led us on a very long-winded journey to get all of the gravure videos in the game.
Oh man, that was funny because I think you had mentioned it at one point, and I was like, "Oh well, let's go watch one." And so we watched one. I think the first one we watched was the girl bouncing on the ball.
Yeah.
Right?
So I think it was like, here, just take a pic of all of these girls that I had unlocked from my previous playthrough, and just we'll watch one.
I picked the girl that I thought was cutest, and she bounced on a ball. I was like, "Well, that's interesting," because she's like in a bikini bouncing on like a bouncy ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, "Well, how do we get more of these videos?"
Boy, howdy, did that lead us down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, it did. And so I looked it up and I looked up how we could get all hows. I looked up how to get all the sexy videos in the game so that we could then watch them. And we not only collected all of the sexy videos, we also watched every single one of them.
Mhm.
And I'm proud of us.
It's true.
Poor Majima, he had to go through some stuff.
He cranked it a lot.
He did.
He cranked it so much he eventually found a haunted video and haunted the cranking shop.
Making a ghost hang out in the video watching place. Oh man.
Yep.
Sometimes I guess ghosts just gotta hang out where dudes crank it.
I mean, got to do what you got to do.
He took several for the team with us making these sexy videos happen.
Yeah. It's true.
Your sacrifice is not in vain, Majima.
It's true. Also, we got to see a lot of various girls that are modeled in the game, and then they get to their video and be like, "Oh my God, you're Himmerhammers."
Yeah, like they're just mostly normal in the game with their models, and then like they're in the bikini in the video. I was like, whoa, those are large.
I am looking respectfully.
Although there's not a whole lot of we had a discussion about this. There's not a whole lot of butt in this.
It's true.
Like they all have very full coverage bikinis, and they're like, here, look at my butt. But like you can't really look at their butt because it's a full coverage bikini bottom.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. But they're ridiculous. Like some of them have girls like playing with phallic shaped balloons, and then others are just playing with regular balloons. Some are just hanging out in the bathtub. Some are pulling bubbles. There's the aforementioned bouncy ball.
Some are just on a pole.
Yeah, there's the pole, which that lady had huge ones.
But
But
there you go.
That was a thing that I did not expect us to do when I first started playing this with you. But it became a quest that I was very passionate about, and I wanted to see it through. And I'm glad that you went along with me on that wild ride. I didn't think I was crazy.
No, of course not. We saw all 30 of the most popular AV idols that were voted by fans.
Woo!
Also, like on this Wikipedia page, there's just a photo of of Chika, Hibiki, Ai, and Mana just sitting apparently at TGS.
Really?
Yeah, it's just here's a picture of these 4 AV girls.
Oh my god.
Because that's what you got to focus on the Wikipedia for Yakuza 0.
I is hilarious because like she has that one laugh. It's like heh 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 heh.
Yep.
And it made me laugh a lot. I don't think you expected that when we started doing this.
No, definitely not. Well, outside of that, do you want to talk about the story of this game? Because that's the big meat and potatoes of this video game.
Yeah, you bet I do.
Oh, also karaoke's in this game, because of course karaoke's in this game, and it's very good.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the karaoke.
It's very good.
Oh man. Man. We did so much karaoke and it was fantastic and there's also dance. And I am now a sucker for the songs that are in this game and I have them. I purchased them on my phone.
You did.
I made dinner the other night while I was listening to them.
You did.
I have fallen so far into this.
It's true.
But yeah, like roller skates and ridiculous 80s jumpsuits and very dramatic singing at a picture. Dame dame.
And then also just rocking out with your bro.
Yeah.
All good.
Your,
it's all good.
Your bandana and your poofy pants. Heck yeah.
It's all very good.
So good. Very, very fun. There's also the girls. They do some songs too, but they aren't.
It's not as like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And the dancing is hard.
Yeah. It is very hard.
You get better at it though.
I did get better at it, but like it's just like
yeah. It's not
I wouldn't go out of my way to do it.
Yeah. Oh man. Karaoke though. A plus 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 plus.
Of course.
Yes. Anyway, you want to talk about Yakuza?
Let's talk about the story of Yakuza 0.
Yakuza.
So like we said, this is December of 1988. We begin the game with Kiryu. He's just a low-ranking member of the Kazuma family, which is a sub-family of the Dojima family, who are a part of the Tojo clan, of course. Kiryu's out making or getting some money off a dude. He's like
beating up a dude in a back alley.
He's a debt collector. He gives the money to a loan shark after walking through Kamurocho with blood on him, and everyone's like, whoa.
Yeah, and he's just walking like it's no big deal, and I'm like, buddy, you got a little something on your face. Which I mentioned to you, it's like, AIDS was a thing then, and they would have noticed that like blood was a thing. But anyway, you also get the weird cutscenes where like their mouths don't move.
Yeah, those are kind of maybe like one of the downsides of this game is just like there's these weird cutscenes that almost become visual novel-esque where like it's just like still images of people talking to each other but their mouths don't move and stuff like that. It's very weird. It's very stylized, but like I don't know how well it works. They kind of brought it back for 7 a little bit and I was like on that as well. Kiryu gives the money to the loan shark. Loan shark's like, hey, why don't you work for me? And Kiryu's like, nah, I'm good. He goes out on the town with his sworn brother. His brother, Akira Nishikiyama. They go out, have some fun, and then they're eating a meal, and the next day, and they see on the TV, there's a dude who was murdered in an alleyway, and Kiryu looks up and sees that it was the dude he beat up last night.
In the same alleyway.
And he's like, I didn't kill that guy. I just roughed him up a little bit. That was it.
You forgot to mention that Nishiki totally just like dunks on him for his outfits.
Yes.
He's like, you got terrible fashion, bro.
It's true. All this, like, the word goes back to the family about this and everything, so he's summoned to the Dojima family office. He meets the 3 lieutenants of the family, Daisaku Kuze, Hiroki Awano, and Keiji Shibusawa. They're all like, hey, why did you murder that dude? And Kiryu's like, I didn't murder that dude. And they're
They're
like,
like,
well,
we're pretty sure you murdered that
you
dude.
should go turn yourself in. Police are looking into it, and he's like, I didn't murder that dude. He learns also that the dude was killed via a gunshot to the head,
hmm
and he's like, I did not have a gun or anything, so I don't know what to tell you. Someone's framing me for this, probably.
I
That's
just
real
beat him
messed
up with
up.
my fists.
Uh-huh. They don't believe him and everything, so that's that. We learned that the place where the murder took place is a very prominent location
hmm
of a massive redevelopment project for Kamurocho. It's called the Kamurocho Revitalization Project.
hmm
And that piece of land is like the key part of it that everyone is trying to fight for.
Everybody wants the empty lot.
Yes, everyone wants the empty lot. So there's a lot of infighting in the Tojo clan about it and just all sorts of things. Um, basically, Dojima has offered anyone who gets the empty lot, they will be the next captain of the family and everything, which the captain is held by Shintaro Kazuma at this point, who is like Kiryu and Nishiki's like adopted dad. He like he helped raise them in an orphanage and everything.
He's their pops.
Yeah. But he's in jail right now, so he doesn't. So they're trying to kind of replace him secretly. Also, people are just like trying to get around him because they don't like him and all this sort of stuff. So
Politics.
a lot of politics and stuff.
Lots of going around behind people's backs and
Mhm.
making deals and shenanigans.
All sorts of
Be-
stuff like that.
Being shady.
Eventually, you find out that it was potentially Kuze who set you up for this because you go back to the loan shark guy, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know what to tell you." And then Kuze shows up there. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Kiryu tries to figure out a way to get out of this and everything. He eventually decides, "Hey, what if I just like get kicked out of the family? Maybe that would be a way to solve this problem and everything." And the others are like, "No, that's a bad idea. You shouldn't do that." But he still goes ahead and does it. He has to go fight Kuze again at the Dojima family office and everything.
Mhm.
Eventually, Patriarch Dojima comes out and is like, "Yeah, I guess like we can just kick you out, whatever. Yeah, as long as you figure out who actually did this."
Get out of here.
Yeah. Also, Kuze, you're gonna chop your pinky off.
Yeah. Yikes. Yikes.
There you go.
Yubi.
Kiryu is now a civilian and everything.
Yeah, he is no longer part of the Yakuza.
It is true. Eventually after that, Kiryu is like just real down in the dumps. He is approached by a man who says he wants to help him. He takes him to his very nice penthouse and everything. He introduces himself as Tetsu Tachibana. He is a real estate dude, and he also wants to acquire the empty lot.
He can also do magic tricks where he makes the lights go off.
He can also do magic tricks like that. So he knows of Kiryu and everything, and he's like, "Hey, would you come help me? Come work for me?" And Kiryu's like, "Nah."
He also power plays Kiryu by like taking his clothes when he goes to take a shower.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, so I'm kind of naked.
There's this
Can't-
weird.
Can I have my clothes back, please?
After that, Kiryu tries to do some investigating about Tachibana real estate. They learn about one of Tachibana's main dudes, this guy named Jun Oda, who goes around and gets a bunch of the buildings and stuff for the company and everything. And
Looks like Brad Pitt.
they learn that like, oh, a lot of people are saying that Tachibana real estate does things very, not great. They're a real shady organization. So Kiryu and Nishiki try to investigate that and everything, and then eventually Kiryu and Oda come face to face and everything. You have to fight him and everything, but then afterwards Oda's like, "Oh, this was just a test, see how good you were." And then Tachibana shows up and is like, "Hey, good job. Also, by the way, I'm working with Kazuma about all of this, so maybe we should all work together." Kazuma's like thinking Patriarch Dojima's getting too powerful, so we got to make sure he doesn't get the empty lot.
Whee!
How about you come join us now? And then Kiryu's like, I guess. All right.
I'm a real estate agent now.
So now we have Tachibana and Dojima trying to get the empty lot. The only problem is none of them know who the owner of the empty lot is. that leads us to the Majima side of the story,
Yes.
where we head to Sotenbori. Majima is the manager of the Cabaret Grand. It is the big cabaret of Sotenbori. It is like the big nightclub of choice for all the high rollers and everything. And then you get to like this very elaborate cutscene where like this dude just like being a real jerk, and Majima just rolls in and basically,
Handles it like a freaking rock star.
yeah, essentially like he handles it without really having to like fight him or anything, and then like makes the guy pay for everyone's drinks. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
this huge just like song and dance essentially. So essentially, like it looks like he's like having like just a grand old time, pun intended, but really
Mm-hmm.
he's not having a good old time.
No, he feels like he's in prison.
He is essentially in Sotenbori because that is literal his literal prison. He has to stay there because of
Yep.
things that happened 3 years ago, where him and his sworn brother Saejima were going to assassinate this dude named Yoshiharu Ueno. Majima gets pulled from that. Seijima goes by himself, gets caught, murders a bunch of dudes, goes to prison. Majima then gets like tortured and everything, loses his eye in that whole process, and then they basically fling him into Sotenbori to have him stay there until he can prove himself and get brought back into the Tojo clan.
Yeah, so he gets put in what he calls the hole.
Mhm.
And they rough him up really like the fact that they actually showed him losing the eye, I was like, oh, yikes. Um, but he went through like what, a year of that?
Yeah.
And then they kind of give him a different type of prison instead of being in the hole, but he is still unhappy.
Yeah. So this is all done.
Also, that butthole is there. The
Yeah.
guy, his
Yes.
boss.
So this is all done by Majima's original boss, Futoshi Shimano. And then once he is transferred to Sotenbori, he kind of becomes under Shimano's sworn brother, Tsukasa Sagawa, who is of the Omi Alliance, and he kind of just like watches over Majima. He also is the owner of the Grand, and is basically like, yeah, if you're doing anything wrong, I will find out about it, and I will make sure, if you're doing something bad, I will rough you up and make sure you realize your place in all this and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
He lost.
lost kitty alert.
He's so lost.
Poor buddy.
He's literally right beside the couch.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Anyway, sorry
What a
about the
weirdo.
distracting kitty yelling.
So soon after all that, Saga was like, hey, you need to come up with a lot of money because I'm going to ship off your top girls elsewhere, and you got to make this money, and that's going to help you eventually get back into the Yakuza and everything and all that. So like Majima has to go off and try and find a bunch of new girls, and he goes to like the Odyssey and everything and tries to figure out a way to rope in some of their girls and bring them over because he can make money that way and everything.
Sees Mr. Libido for the first time.
He does see
and a
Mr.
friendship is
Libido.
sparked.
Yes. Then after that, Sagawa brings Majima to like a noodle stand. They have a little meeting, and he gives Majima an offer where he's like, hey, if you do this one thing, I will call up Shimano. We'll get you back in the Tojo clan. We'll get you back in the Yakuza. The only thing you have to do, you just have to kill someone. Majima's like, I haven't done that yet. I don't know. I mean, I can totally do it. Yep, totally.
I mean, I was going to with my brother, so sure, fine. Murder.
Sagawa tells him that the target is this pimp who's been, operating very brazenly in Sagawa's territory, so they need to get rid of him and everything, and that the pimp's name is Makoto Makimura.
Mhm.
So Majima has to figure out, okay, where is this Makimura character at? How do I get to them and everything? So he eventually like goes around to various places to try and figure out what's the story and everything.
Meets up with a lot of girls who are like, oh yeah, he's super nice to me and he's protected me lots of times. And Majima's like, are we talking about the same guy?
Yeah, so he quickly learns that like this Makimura is like someone who protects a bunch of sex workers in the city and everything, make sure they're okay and everything. So like it's very contradictory to the story that Saga tells him and everything.
And he's looking for somebody with a bat tattoo.
No,
Yes.
not yet.
Because the lady on the phone, when you're talking to him,
Oh
is
yeah. Okay, no,
do you have tattoos?
I get. I thought you meant Majima was looking for someone with a bat tattoo. Like, no, it's not yet.
No,
yes,
no.
Makimura is looking for someone with a bat tattoo.
Yes.
Yes.
Because like when you're on the phone with a girl, she's like, "Do you have any tattoos?" And he says yes, and then she asks like, "Hey, what do you have?"
Yeah. Eventually, he's able to find out that like, oh, Makimura is tied to this massage parlor. So you go there and you break in and try and figure out, okay, see if I can find anything in here. No one's here and everything. But then one of the assistants comes in and it's like just trying to do everything normally, but Majima quickly realizes that this girl's blind and doesn't see him, so he's just like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? Eventually she bumps into him and she starts to think that it's a thief, and he has to be like, no, I'm here to get a massage and everything is fine, yeah.
I'm a customer.
So he gets one and everything, and then
Majima also makes one of my favorite faces in the entire game in this scene, because there's a part where this girl is walking past him and he's like against the wall with his mouth just like horrified open. And it's hilarious.
Yeah. So he gets his massage and everything, and then like the owner of the massage clinic comes back. And that's when he kind of realizes, oh, this is probably Makimura that I'm trying to find. They have like a stare down with each other and realize, oh, this is kind of shady. The big guy sends the girl off to go get some stuff from a store nearby.
Worth mentioning that he comes in and Majima does not have his shirt on
yes.
because he's getting a massage, so he sees his tattoos.
Also sees like there's a knife in like the basket of his belongings.
Yeah.
So it's a very it's very tense.
Everything's normal.
Yeah. So once the girl leaves, they have a fight and everything.
Throws needles, like the acupuncture needles at him.
Yes.
Like, Jesus Christ, that's terrifying.
And they both are like, well, they're trying to like figure out what's going on with like each other, and like they're kind of unsure of it. And then some more dudes just like pop in, and the big guy's like, are these your guys? And Majima's like, no, I don't know who these guys are. Are these your guys? The girl comes back in the midst of all this. And the guys, the other guys that are here now realize that something's amiss. So they try and take the girl. This is when the big guy says Makoto, and Majima's like, oh, wait.
That's not you.
The big guy's not Makoto. The girl is. So basically these new guys in here shoot the big guy down. Majima goes after them and tries to take the girl back. They've go through the city and everything, having to evade pursuers and everything. And then Majima basically takes her to a warehouse type thing that he knows of.
Behind the Odyssey, right?
Yeah. And then like kind of keeps her there for the time being while he tries to figure out what's going on. Also, if he can figure out if he can come to terms with killing her or not.
Yeah, he debates for a while she's there and freaking out, like, can I do this? And he decides, no, I cannot. Because she is, rightfully panicking. She can't see, has no idea what's going on. She heard gunshots. She knows that the big guy's down. Big guy has been taking care of her. Like, things are bad.
Things are bad. After that, we go back to Kiryu, where he's learning about how to be a real estate agent. Oda takes him to a meeting with a client, and they have to go through the rigor of how to handle requests and everything, how to be a proper businessman. They get him like a new suit and everything. And
some business cards. He has to learn how to present the business cards properly and where to sit.
Yep. They eventually have to go find like a squatter who's like trying to not vacate because he wants money. And then Kiryu beats up some dudes who were working with the squatters, and the squatter's like, I'm out of here. I gotta go.
Sorry.
Eventually, Oda wants to go celebrate with Kiryu, and he tells him to go meet him at this bar called Serena. Kiryu goes up there first, and he finds Nishiki there, and he's like, oh, I didn't realize you were I didn't know you would be here. He learns that Nishiki's like a regular of the place. He meets the owner, Reina, they're having a nice fun time doing karaoke and drinking, and then Oda arrives and he's just got beat the crap out of him.
Yeah. Rain is also very, very 80s. Very,
Yes.
very 80s. She's got like the power suit on and
hmm
everything. She is ready.
So
Anyway, karaoke and then beating up.
Oda like just like walks in the door and collapses, and then Awano and his gang show up and are like, "Hey, Kiryu, stop messing with us. You know, you were just in the family, now you're not. If you mess with us, we're going to beat you up and everything." So they have to take things outside. Kiryu beats up Amano's dudes, and then Amano's
So
like,
many
"Hey,
dudes.
stop messing with messing with us. We will kill you if you don't. Also, if you want to, not be messed with, give us Tachibana,
Yep.
and we'll leave you alone." And Kiryu's like, "No,
Nah.
I
No
don't
deal.
wanna. No wanna."
Imagine Kiryu doing that. It's really funny.
After that, Kiryu meets up with Tachibana. They go to the empty lot, and Tachibana kind of tells Kiryu about like everything. It's like, hey, this is the place and everything. Also, I think we found the identity of the owner. We just got to figure out if that's true or not. So we might be close to having the empty lot.
Yay.
Yay! After that, Kiryu gets beat up or gets attacked again. He has to fight his way through the streets. This lady comes out of like a store and is like, "Hey, I'll help you. Go through the sewers and everything."
Is this when his apartment was burned down?
Might
Because
be.
they're all trying to kill him, and so they're like trying to like give him no choice of where he can go, and so he goes to hide in the sewers, right?
No, it's later. His apartment gets burned.
Oh, okay.
This is just him being hunted, essentially.
Okay.
But yeah, this lady's like, "Hey, go to the sewers and everything," and he's like, "Cool, thanks for helping me." And she's like, "Yeah, come back and see me, and I'll, give me money."
You're
He's like,
kind of hot.
"Sure," but it's a trap.
What?
He goes down the sewer and eventually he finds Kuze on a motorcycle with a giant pipe. And Kiryu's like, "Oh god." So they have a fight in the sewer and you have to beat him up in the sewer, and it's real good. It's real fun.
It is wild. Like the motorcycle and pipe and poop. It's just there's a lot happening here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot happening here.
So after you beat up Kuze, you eventually find the exit of the sewer, which is a disco that Awano's in, just dancing with a lady. And I was like, "Hey, I'm having the fun here. I'm dancing. Yay! I'm surprised you're alive. Whoa! Where are you gonna turn over Tachibana? Yay!" Kiryu's like, "No." And I was like, "Well, if you don't, that's going to be real bad because we're going to murder you like I'm going to murder this lady." Bang! And he shoots the lady he was dancing with.
Yeah, just straight up murders her, and like she wasn't doing anything wrong. She was just existing.
Mm-hmm. He also tells Kiryu, like, "Oh, we got a bunch of dudes just waiting out front for you. They're going to light you up as soon as you walk out the door." And Kiryu's like, "All right, bet." And Kiryu just leaves and like no one's out there. And I was like, "Dang, I thought that bluff would work." Kiryu's like still trying to find a place to go. He runs into Nishiki, who's in a car. Nishiki's like, "Hey, come on, let's get out of here." So they drive out of Kamurocho to like this like abandoned little area.
Nishiki's like, I don't know where this is. I just kind of drove on instinct.
Yep. They're just having a little chat outside of the car after they park it, and then Nishiki pulls a gun on Kiryu. He's like, "I gotta do it. If not, they're going to kill you and do something real bad. I can't let them do that to you."
He's just like sobbing.
Yes. It's very emotional.
Yes. It was a rough scene to get through.
And Kiryu's like, "Yeah, you're right. You should just shoot me right now. Use me to gain power and make your way up the Tojo clan." Nishiki is unable to do so. He fires a shot, but it goes past Kiryu, and Kiryu's like, "All right, well, the best thing for you to do is just forget about me. Let's not be brothers anymore. Also, I'm just gonna steal your car."
Yeah, he just steals his car and leaves him there.
It's very casually.
As you do.
After that, we go back to Majima, where he is still in this club warehouse with Makoto. He's trying to find answers, so he goes and finds a Chinese doctor who is taking care of Lee, who is the big guy, the owner of the massage parlor, who is acting as Makoto to try and lure off any weird people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's his plan and everything, to try and just figure out what's going on. Why are the people after Makoto and everything? Why is Majima's bosses want her dead? Why do all the other people want to capture her and everything? He's got to figure it out. He gets some food and brings it back to her, some takoyaki.
There's a moment, I don't remember exactly what it is, but he's like trying to tell her what he looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And he says something like, I've got a real handsome face, except for like I got an eye that's destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, sure.
But I think it's like this. It's this part where like they just talk about their lives and everything, what they're doing and all that sort of stuff. This is where you learn about Makoto's backstory, where she was born in China, but she's like from Chinese and Japanese parents. She came to Japan later in life to find her brother who had left China years prior and everything. And like basically was going around trying to find him and everything, and that's kind of how things go bad for her. Eventually she kind of goes into like why she's blind. She tells him that it's not physiological but like psychological trauma that's caused her blindness, but she doesn't go into it any further at this point in time. After that, Majima kind of just goes back to work because he's kind of got to do that.
Yeah.
He keeps going back to the warehouse and everything. I think at one point as well, he eventually finds Lee, and they have like this meeting of like, okay, we're going to come up with this plan to make sure she gets out of here, and everyone will be off our back and everything. Mm-hmm. Lee's plan is he's found this woman who looks basically identical to Makoto. If she goes missing, no one would care. She's kind of just like a crappy person. So he's like, we'll just kill her. We'll put Makoto's clothes on her, like the massage uniform on her, ditch the body in the river, and then everyone will be like, oh, she's dead. Well, there you go. Can't do anything about that now.
So that would get Majima off the hook of having to murder somebody and, well, not murder somebody, but murder Makoto, and would get her off the hook so that she could get out safely.
Yeah. Majima is like, this is a stupid idea. You're not going to fool people like this. Even if you like rough up her face enough to try and pass it off as like, oh, this is it. Like, you're not going to do this. This is completely dumb. Mm-hmm. After that, Lee tells Majima about what exactly happened to Makoto, because I think he drugs her or like to knock her out.
Drugs her water or her tea or whatever.
Yeah, so she passes out. So they can talk about this plan and everything. He tells Majima about what caused her blindness, which is like she had come to Sotenbori to find her brother and everything. She was going around talking to people and just trying to be like, oh, have you seen this person and everything? Eventually, she was captured by a dude with a bat tattoo on his arm and basically sold into sex slavery.
Yes. So Lee is like tasked at one point with like breaking into there, and he says that he came into like a bunch of half naked women and that they all basically ran off when he got there, but that this one couldn't. And so he's basically just like became her guardian. Yeah.
Also, Lee's like a former member of like the Triad, so.
Yeah, he's like a beefy dude that you don't want to mess with.
Yes. So he tells him everything, all that, and then they still have this disagreement about what to do, and they have a fight about it. Majima ends up winning. He takes the uniform away and is like, don't do this idea. It's stupid. Just don't do it. Majima takes it to like a nearby park, dumps it into a trash can, but some mysterious guy picks up the bag and leaves. And then the next morning, Majima and Lee meet up again. They see a news report that's like, oh, a body was found in the river wearing this uniform. And Lee's like, oh, you did it. I guess you changed your mind and everything. And Majima's like, I didn't know. That wasn't me. I didn't do that. After that, he gets a phone call from some dude who's like, hey, I did your plan for you. Why don't you come meet me at the Grand and give me a thank you for what you did? So Majima goes to the Grand. He finds the place completely empty. And there's just one dude in there who's with like a bunch of ladies and
being handsy,
having just touching a boob and having them feel up his junk and everything.
Yeah, it's gross. And Majima comes in, he's like, no touching the girls.
No, zero touching, no touching.
No, no touchy.
We find out this guy is Homare Nishitani. He's the patriarch of the Kijin clan. It is a subsidiary of the Omi Alliance.
He's crazy.
Yes. Nishitani tells Majima that it was like his dudes who were trying to kidnap Makoto. And like they are being told by his bosses that like they gotta grab the girl and everything because why? I don't know. We just gotta.
She's worth a lot.
She's worth a lot of money. So he wants Majima to hand over the girl. And Majima's like, no. Majima, he also wants to fight Majima. Majima's like, no. So Nishitani's like, calls the cops on himself saying he's robbing the Grand. And Majima's like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, now you have to fight me because I'm a robber.
I'm not a customer anymore.
So he fights him and beats him up. And then the cops come and take him away. And Majima's just like, what is happening?
And that dude's basically like, I have a giant crush on you now.
Yeah. So after that, Majima goes back to like the employee part of the Grand, and Saga was there, and Saga was like, "Hey, why didn't you call me and tell me you did the job? Also, why was that guy here?
What was that about?
What was all that about?" Majima was like, I was in state of shock. I couldn't call you. I was
First time I ever killed anybody.
Yeah, first time I ever killed someone. I was literally coming up here to call you right now." And then Majima's like realizes like Saga kind of feels like it's the truth, but doesn't. He's still a little weary about it. So he's like, this is not gonna last. This is only gonna stay for a while. Majima goes back to the warehouse and he tells Lee and Makoto about what happened, and he's like, hey, you got to get out of town now. You have to leave. They go back to the massage parlor and like try and sneak in and everything. They're gonna get into a van that Lee has for the massage parlor and get out of there. But as soon as Lee gets in to start it up, it explodes.
Yep. Kaboom.
I think also
Makoto and Majima back pretty far.
I think also like before this, like just a bunch of dudes show up into the warehouse. It's like a bunch of homeless dudes, and it's all people who have been watching Majima. So it's Sagawa's men. So Majima's like realizes, oh, we're the jig is up.
Also, the Chinese doctor sold him out and got a crowbar to the chest.
Yes, the Chinese doctor sold him out and got a crowbar to the chest. It was very bad. So yeah,
horrifying.
Car bomb goes off. Majima and Makoto are getting knocked back. Makoto gets knocked out in the explosion. Majima like is kind of into it.
Halfway there.
Yeah. And Sagawa is walking up to them, and he's like, oh, I didn't want to to kill you, but I'm going to have to do this now. It's a real shame. And then Sagawa just gets shot by just some random dude in a white suit.
Yep.
And takes him down. Majima's like, who the heck is this guy? He gets the butt of a pistol knocked into his skull, and then this dude just takes Makoto away.
And then we're Kiryu again.
Kiryu is still trying to lay low after the Dojima family still wants to find him and murder him. This is where his apartment gets burned down. He's like, crap, gotta go.
My apartment.
Yeah. He's like kind of just like walking through the streets. He eventually runs into Reina, who's like, hey, why don't you come stay at Serena for a little bit? That would be fine. But the Dojima family also knows that that's Nishiki's favorite bar, so they have been keeping an eye out on it, so they know he's there. And Kiryu's like, well, thanks for letting me stay here. Gotta go.
Goodbye.
He eventually flees out to the street, and then he finds Kuze, Awano, and Shibusawa, who are also all there waiting on him. And you get to fight Kuze again.
Yep.
So you beat Kuze, Awano pulls a gun on Kiryu. He's like, I'm going to kill you now. And then Tachibana drives down the street in a Ferrari and just like runs people over and is like, get in the car, Kiryu.
I forget which dude he actually just like straight up hits and rolls them over the car.
One of them.
And then he runs into a pole and
yeah.
Kiryu gets in and I was like, it's a good thing Kiryu like realized that he had to get on a certain side of the car because like this is not a Japanese car.
Yeah.
But yeah, we speed off and I love that like we get a line with Tachibana. He's like, "Yeah, I don't really drive that much, so that was stressful."
It was very stressful. Yeah, they take shelter for a bit in an underground parking lot where they wait for Oda to get them in like a different car and
Tachibana's
everything.
sweaty.
Yeah, Tachibana is like, oh, it's real nice of you to risk your life for people. It's real cool. I've never been able to do that. Here comes Oda in a van. Oh, I'm gonna take a nap for a bit. And like just passes out, and Oda's like, "Oh crap, we gotta go. Tachibana got some health issues. We need to get him to a safe place immediately, or he's going to die." So they do that.
Explain the sweatiness.
Explain the sweatiness.
I mean, he might have also just been nervous because he was driving and in a very intense situation, but like also I think the sweatiness was because he was sick.
Yes. Eventually we find ourselves in Little Asia. It is
Little
a
Asia.
very tightly packed in part of Kamurocho where like a bunch of Chinese folks live. Where
Immigrants, yeah. It makes
they
me
were,
so uncomfortable how tight it is.
I think they were former like Chinese mafia folks who eventually got crushed by the Tojo clan, so they kind of just like fled into like this very small part of Kamurocho.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
it is so cramped.
yeah. Tachibana gets taken to a hospital in there, and they're giving him dialysis and everything. Oda tells them that like, yeah, we kind of like help give these folks money, so they'll give us kind of like a place to go if things go bad and everything. And Oda takes Kiryu to like the leader or the elder of this area, and he's like, hey, maybe he can let you stay here and hide out for a while. And
Elder's like, LOL, no.
Elder's like, no, I
Get
I don't like the Yakuza. I don't like the Dojima family either. And if they come here, they're gonna completely destroy us. So like, hit the bricks, kid.
Get out.
So Kiryu has no other place to go. He eventually finds himself in West Park and takes shelter with homeless people. So that's where he stays for a little bit. Oda
Save
comes.
some homeless guys from being baseball batted.
Yeah. Oda comes by and picks up Kiryu the next day, and they go back to meet up with Tachibana, who's magically fine now.
Dialysis helps.
Yeah. So they do that, and then they are like, all right, we're going to go to a meeting we have arranged at the Tojo clan headquarters with the acting second chairman of the Tojo clan, Takashi Nihara.
Yep.
And Tachibana and Oda and Kiryu roll in and everything. Tachibana's like, hey, I'll give you 1 billion yen if you tell the Dojima family to lay off Kiryu. And this guy's like, that's a lot of money. That's real weird. Why would we spare this one guy's life for all that money? Like, what's the dealio? It's real strange.
Kiryu, are you worth this much money?
Kiryu's like, I don't know. Tachibana kind of just explains like, oh, we need him to work with us and everything. We are trying to stop Dojima from becoming really powerful, and if Dojima becomes real powerful, he's going to take over the Tojo clan, and that's probably not what you want. So, if you help us, we'll help you in a roundabout way and everything. So, might be a good idea to do so. Eventually, Nihara agrees to all this. Kind of like at the end is like, hey, I know Cosmo and everything. Are you going to be as good of a person as he is? And Kiryu's like, I don't know. Hopefully. So they leave the meeting, and then just a bunch of Tojo clan dudes show up, and they're like, wait, didn't we just get a pardon for all this? And they're like, well, I guess because we have to fight our way out of this, or else it's not really going to be worthwhile. So
yeah,
he beat up a bunch of people.
They said that they expected this, like, if the negotiations had gone bad, but
yeah,
happened also when they went well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to fight your way out.
Fight your way out and everything, but you're eventually able to get free. You head back to Little Asia. Tachibana talks to Kiryu and Oda again. He has confirmed the identity and the location of the empty lot's owner, telling them that they need to go to Sotenbori to find the owner of the empty lot.
Which, by the way, I called this.
Yes. He also tells them that Shibusawa is sending men to Sotenbori as well, and he kind of fears that they know as well who the empty lot owner is. They eventually head off to Sotenbori, and eventually Tachibana tells Kiryu that the owner of the empty lot is one Makoto Makimura.
Mm-hmm.
Dun dun dun.
I think I screeched at the TV when that came out because it was like, I called it. I called it.
Mm-hmm.
When they said that she was like, do you know how much the money this girl is worth? I was like, it's you. You're the one who has the empty lot.
Also, when we saw Tachibana on dialysis, he has a bat tattoo.
He has a bat tattoo.
Suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
We head back over to Majima's side of the story. At this point, Sagawa has taken him captive and is just beating the crap out of him with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
Because he betrayed him and everything. And he's like, who's the guy in the white suit? And Majima's like, I don't know.
I legitimately have no idea.
He eventually lets Majima go and is like, hey, we're going to work together now to find the girl and kill her. And also find who this white suit man is and rough him up too.
I got to keep an eye on you.
Majima eventually kind of realized, like, okay, I need to find Nishitani to figure out why he was going after the girl and everything, what information he has. And in order to do that, I need to go to jail to do that. He eventually runs into a detective whose name is Billiken, who can get him into jail. He's a corrupt cop who's also Nishitani's uncle. Eventually,
is he his actual uncle or is he like the guy who raised him?
Something like that.
Because there's the whole story about like, oh, hey, my daughter got murdered. And then this kid who was in high school murdered the guy who did it. And I kind of let him go basically with nothing. Also, I raised him. Also, it's that guy.
Yeah. So eventually, Majima is able to convince Billiken to help him, and they go on this boat, and then eventually the boat stops, and it becomes an elevator, and you have to go fight 3 fights in an underground fighting arena to get Billiken's approval to send you to jail.
Blew my mind.
It's very cool. Eventually you go to the jail where Nishitani is, and he just kind of runs the place. He just kind of comes there if anything bad happens and he needs to like chill out for a little bit.
Lay low for a bit.
Yeah. It's just his little safe house and everything. You eventually fight him again, and then Nishitani tells you what you need to know. He tells you the Nishitani and the man in the white suit are not working together, but he knows who the man in the white suit is, and that is Masaru Sera, the patriarch of the Nikyo Consortium, which is like this very secret organization in the Tojo clan that kind of like does all the dirty work that they need done, like the real dirty work.
Yeah, they're like the CIA of the Tojo clan.
Yeah, essentially. Nishitani also tells Majima he had no real like personal thing in the capturing of Makoto, and that he was only doing it because Shibusawa paid him to do it. Nishitani also offers Majima a position in his family. He's like, hey, why don't you come for me? I like you. I like fighting you.
Got a big old crush on you, buddy.
Yeah. Majima refuses because he wants to go back to the Tojo clan, and also he has he wants to see things through with his sworn brother as well. They eventually go out of the jail cell because they've done their stuff, and then also they're like, "Oh, everything's quiet around here. This is weird."
I love they just walk straight out. Like,
yeah,
it was never a locked cell to begin with.
No,
hilarious.
So they go to leave, and then Billiken shows up, and he's been shot, and Ishitani's like, "What is happening?" And then like the guard who was there was like, I had to do it. They paid me a lot more money," and they start shooting Nishitani, and Nishitani just like gets shot a bunch of times, and then just like wills his way over to the guard to kill him.
He basically like human shields in front of Majima.
Yes.
Yeah, he gets shot a lot, and it was like, you done messed up, buddy.
Mm-hmm. So after that, Majima tries to go find Sera by himself because he doesn't want Sagawa to know anything about it, because if Sagawa finds out, he'll try and kill her, and he doesn't want that.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually Sagawa finds out that Majima wants to leave Sotenbori, and is like, all right, well, I figure if you're trying to leave, you have information, so we're going to go together.
Where are you going, buddy?
Yep. So they eventually go down to like this other part of Osaka. It's called like Camellia Grove. That's where the Nikyo Consortium is using as their base. They fight through all that area. Eventually you make your way up to the top of the brothel, and that's where Sera is. And
the creepy mask guys.
Creepy mask guys are all there.
Hate them.
Sera tells them that Makoto's not here, So can't really do anything about that. You fight him as Majima, and you're able to beat him and everything. Uh, Sarah tells Majima about the empty lot and like well, that's why everyone kind of like wants Makoto and everything. And that she's also now in the custody of a Tachibana real estate employee who he's been working with. He's about to offer like the business card of this dude that he just gave Makoto to Majima when Sagawa shows up behind and shoots him. And Sagawa's like, "Oh, good job, Majima. You distracted it. Well, I could do the job and everything. Good going." Sagawa picks up the business card and looks at it and is like, "Well, I guess this is who we got to go find now." He hands the business card to Majima and he reads the business card, which says, "This is the business card of Tachibana real estate employee Kazuma Kiryu."
Yep.
Dun dun dun. So then we go back to Kiryu. So Kiryu and Oda are in Sotenbori. They're going to find Makoto and everything. They've have this whole meeting planned out where they're going to go meet Sarah at his base and everything. They're going to do the exchange, and then they're going to get Makoto out and bring her back to Kamurocho.
So that they can do the empty lot sale
Yes.
type thing. Yeah.
Sarah talks to Kiryu and tells him that he's also a friend of Kazuma. He is trying to do everything to prevent Dojima from becoming the next chairman.
Mm-hmm.
Kiryu's very nice to Makoto and is like, "All right, I'll help you. I will escort you very nicely." He eventually leaves her out where Oda's waiting with a taxi, and she hears Oda's voice and is eventually like she stops in her tracks and is like very like
she basically
suspicious.
Like panics a bit.
Yes. And Kiryu kind of notices like, "Is everything okay?" And she's like, "It's fine, it's fine."
Gotta go.
So they all get into a taxi and try and drive to Kamurocho, but are eventually ambushed by Shibusawa and his folks. So you get a weird section where you were shooting out of a vehicle as Kiryu and just blowing cars up and motorcycles and everything and trying to stop
and helicopters.
Rockets. And trying to stop rockets from being shot at you and everything.
Kiryu never killed a man in his life.
Never. It's a whole thing.
Yep.
Eventually you're able to take down enough,
like a construction site.
Yeah, you take down enough of the dudes and pull off at a construction site because also the driver of the taxi got murdered immediately.
Yeah, so you gotta put his body in the trunk.
They just dump his body in the back of the trunk. They're like, "Well, we'll just deal with this later."
Which I feel so bad because it's like his family is gonna be so confused as to what happened to this guy because he was like in a taxi doing his job and now he's in the trunk and then things happen and they're not gonna know what happened.
Mm-hmm. So they go off on this construction site and try to just hide out for a little bit while trying. Hopefully, Shibusawa's men won't find them here or anything. Oda goes around to take a look around and see what's all here. And while he's away, Makoto tells Kiryu like, "I know that guy that you're with. I know his voice. I've met him before." And she tells Kiryu that he's the guy who kidnapped her originally and sold her into human trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
And Kiryu's like, "Oh, what?" Oda, by the way, just didn't leave and like is like, "Oh, this is real bad. Let me pull a gun on both of you."
Like, yeah, my plan was to kill you guys anyway.
Takes Makoto hostage, and then talks about how like he sold Makoto before he met Tachibana, and then Tachibana eventually comes over to Osaka. He fights him and makes him like be the leader of his gang and everything, and they're both like sitting in one of their apartments and everything and watching the TV of like the show of like Chinese immigrants coming to Japan to find family and everything. And Tachibana sees on the TV his mom and sister and realizes like, "Oh my god, that's my mom and sister." And Oda looks at the screen and sees the girl and he's like, "Oh crap, that's the girl I sold to slavery."
Yep.
He's like, "Uh-oh."
He can't ever find out.
Yeah, so he's like, "I'm gonna kill the girl so Tachibana will never find out about what I did." Also, Oda tells Kiryu that he's also made a deal with Shibusawa, and he's going to give Makoto to them. And basically, it's an exchange so that Tachibana won't get hurt or Oda won't get hurt, but Kiryu will probably get messed up. Before Oda
I think he intended for him to die.
Yeah. Before Oda can do anything, though, Makoto takes out like this hidden blade in her walking cane that she has and just stabs him in the leg.
He's like, yeah, Sarah gave that to me. Thought it might come in
Yep.
handy.
Kiryu goes after him and takes the gun away, and they flee. They flee. At the same time, Shibusawa's men come up and start ransacking the construction site, so the Kiryu and Makoto have to fight through some dudes. Mostly
Well, we
Kiryu.
do get some like Oda words before that happens because he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna make it. So I'm gonna kind of like hang out here, do some things. I think this is where he says like, hey, tell Tachibana that I love him or something like that.
Yeah. Also, don't
And
tell
then-
Tachibana the truth about what happened.
Yeah, don't do that. That's bad.
Yeah.
Also, I have a bat tattoo. Woo.
Woo.
So yeah, Kiryu leaves the gun with him and is like, hey, you'll do great, buddy.
So yeah.
Goodbye. Then we're fighting our way out.
Then Kiryu and Makoto are able to fight their way out, kind of escape, capture and everything. But Shibusawa and his dudes find Oda and everything. They beat him up, and then Shibusawa eventually just murders him for not giving them Makoto and Kiryu.
Straight up dead.
Pew, pew.
By Brad Pitt.
So you're able to get back to Kamurocho as Kiryu. Kiryu leaves Makoto in the homeless park in West Park, and then he gets in contact with Tachibana. He finds him in Little Asia, but then the place gets swarmed again by Shibusawa's guys because they found the hideout from Oda, and you have to basically fight through some dudes, and then there's like an assassin comes in and shoots Kiryu a few times, and the assassin's like, hey, I'm only here for Tachibana, I don't care about this other guy. So Tachibana's like, hey, I'll go with you, just leave the other guy. And he's like, yeah, that guy is not even in part of my contract, so I don't care about him, so if you're leaving, fine, cool, I'll just take you. Kiryu wakes back up in the clinic. He's like, the elder's there, and the elder's
His pants are magically not bloody or shot.
yeah, it's very nice.
Same with his jacket when he gets that back, but for now he's shirtless.
The elder tells Kiryu about who the assassin is. He's like, yeah, this is a huge, like, infamous Chinese assassin. Like, if he's being hired, like, bad things are going to happen. You need to go find Tachibana and rescue him. Kiryu is like, all right, I'm going to go do that. He leaves and then gets spotted by more men. And then Nishiki's also there. And then the Shibusawa dudes are like trying to get Nishiki to prove that he's still loyal to the family by murdering Kiryu, but he refuses. And they pull their shirts off and reveal tattoos and fight together.
They only have the outlines though because they're babies.
It's true. They're very young. So they're able to fight through these guys, and then Kiryu's like, hey, here's what's happened. The last like couple of days, we got to find Tachibana, and we got to find him quick. They're able to get like a location of where potentially Tachibana is and everything. He's in this like nearby abandoned shop building or whatever. Kuze is like trying to get the information of where Makoto is. So while that's happening, like one of Kuze's lieutenants is trying to do so by like literally like breaking his toes.
Yeah, he sledgehammers his toes.
And Tachibana's like, yeah, I'm still not gonna tell you everything. That's not cool. Tachibana keeps like just taunting him by like laughing at him when this dude gets berated by Kuze. So the dude just literally takes a sledgehammer and just swings the sledgehammer as hard as he can into Tachibana's skull.
Yeah, he hits him in the temple.
Bonk. And then Kuze's like, you dumb idiot. And just like beats the crap out of this dude for doing that. And then Kiryu and Nishiki show up and they see Tachibana in just a rough state. And Kuze's like, oh yeah, I guess that happened. And then Kiryu just walks up and just punches the heck out of Kuze.
Yep.
That starts a boss fight where you have to beat him up. And you eventually are able to kind of get Tachibana out of there, and then Kuze's like, that kid's becoming a real Yakuza. Ugh.
Then we're in the empty lot.
So you're in the empty lot because that's basically where the building is. And Kiryu's like, Nishiki, you need to go to West Park, bring Makoto here now. Tachibana is not going to make it. Tachibana like wakes up a little bit and tells Kiryu that Lao Gui, the assassin, is being controlled by Dojima. It was Dojima who framed Kiryu for the murder of the envy lot. Also, I think Kuze tells you that like, hey, there's a traitor in the Tojo clan trying to sell the empty lot to the Omi Alliance.
Yep.
It's all sorts of stuff is happening. Bad things are happening.
Yes.
So they take the body. They're outside with the body. Eventually, Nishiki comes back with Makoto.
But he's dead already.
But he's dead already. And Makoto's it realizes like, oh, this is my brother. He's dead. Crap.
Yeah.
Then we switch back to Majima as they are in Kamurocho now to find Makoto. Sagawa tells Majima that Shimano is trying to sell the empty lot to the Omi Alliance for 10 billion yen, which would get them into Kamurocho, and that would give them a better way to take over the Tojo clan if need be. They eventually go and meet up with Shimano himself, and he's like, yeah, the reason I gave you this order to kill the girls because I knew you wouldn't do it, Majima. Everything's going according to plan. And like Majima and Sagawa are both like, huh? What do you mean? And he's like, yeah, well, I knew you wouldn't kill her because you would be like, oh, this is real messed up. So basically she would become to trust you because you saved her life and everything. And we're going to use that trust she has in you now in order to basically have her sign over the empty lot to me. Yay. And also, if you do that, I'll get you back in the family. No harm, no foul. And you don't even have to kill her. It's cool. And then Majima's like, huh? And Sagawa's like, huh? What? What's going on? So Majima goes around and is like very sad.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I can't believe I was manipulated. This is real messed up. Why would I let myself be in this situation? Ah!
I think this is also a part where, because of all of that and because of things that are said, Majima kind of realized, like, oh, I might kind of have feelings for this girl.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops.
So Majima comes up with the idea that, like, the way to make sure all this stops is to stop the Dojima family from finding her.
Yep.
So he goes to the Kazuma office. He confronts Kashiwagi and is like, hey, where's Kiryu? Where's the girl? Kashiwagi doesn't give them up. He's like, all right, let's go fight.
Fight on the roof.
Majima just beats the crap out of him.
Yep.
One of the just Kazuma family dudes is like, don't kill him, please. And Majima's like, where is Kiryu? Just find me someone that can find me Kiryu. And he's like, go to Serena. Maybe Nishiki's there. So Majima goes up to Serena. He kind of just like takes a seat there, and he like asks Reina like, oh, is there
a guy named Nishiki?
Yeah, is there a guy named Nishiki there? And Nishiki like slowly turns around like, oh, who are you?
I do like that when the like underling at the one office like, yeah, maybe it's try Serena. Majima looks at him and is like, all right, I'm gonna try that, but if it doesn't work out, I'm coming back, I'm gonna kill you.
Yep.
It's like, dang, dude.
So Nishiki, yeah, Nishiki's there. He's like, oh, what if I'm Nishiki? And Majima's like, kid, you don't want to try this.
Yeah.
You don't want to try this. It's like Nishiki, like, so Nishiki thinks he's like one of like Shibusawa's guys trying to find the girl and everything. He doesn't know who Majima is. Right. So he tries to pull a gun on Majima. Majima just immediately just like flings it away. He's like, kid, you are way in over your head.
Yep.
And then Majima just beats the crap out of him.
He does say, like, I think it's after he beats him, like, hey, I'm trying to protect her.
Yeah.
Also, Rita tries to like bust you over the head with a bottle.
Yeah.
And I did like that she also tried to throw a healing item, but you intercepted it.
It's pretty good. So yeah, you beat up Nishiki, and he's like, yeah, and Kiryu, we have no idea where Makoto is. She left. She's just roaming the streets. We don't know where she is. And yeah, that's basically where Nishiki's like, are you trying to protect her or anything? And that's where he kind of learns that like Majima is not a foe, but more of an ally in this situation. She basically left after they found, or when Tachibana dies, she kind of like freaks out and they lose track of her. Essentially, that's what happens. So Majima kind of like is trying to figure out what to do. He goes to the empty lot for whatever reason to see if he can figure out something to do here, and then he sees Makoto on top of like a roof overlooking the empty lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then he
He's
climbs
like, oh no.
he climbs up to try and like stop her from doing anything, and also realizes like she's starting to get her eyesight back.
Yep.
But not like really, really eyesight. It's just kind of like she can see a very little bit,
She
like
can see
see
like
the shapes and like
outlines.
a little bit of light. Yeah. So Makoto tells Majima like, "Hey, my brother died,
My brother
and
died.
like my vision started to come back. It's real weird. But also I'm gonna go get revenge on the Dojima family.
Can I hire you to kill all these
Go
people?
kill those people for me." And Majima's like, "You don't want to do this. This is not who you are. Like you do not want to go down that road." So he's still trying to like talk her out of it, but she's like very like, "No, I'm going to do this." So he's like, "Hey, what if we go get some food? Just to try and calm down and everything." She's like, "Are you trying to get me out of doing this?" And he's like, "No."
No,
Maybe.
if you decide that you want to go through with it, you can leave. It's
Mhm.
fine.
So
But let's go get some takoyaki.
so he helps her kind of navigate through town a little bit, and they go get takoyaki. They eat it on a bench in one of the parks. And she's still very adamant. He's like, "All right." She's like, "Oh, can you get me some more food? Like, I just want another serving of takoyaki." And he's like, "All right, but just stay here. Don't go anywhere." It's a bad mistake.
I do think that it's cute though, because the stand owner is like watching over them as he's like getting her the food when they're together. And she's like, he's a keeper. It's like, yeah. So that was really cute. Also I realized that we've neglected to talk about the watch at all.
We'll talk about the watch.
He has the watch, right?
He gets the watch like early on, I think.
Yeah, it's in the warehouse when he
Mhm.
gets it because she's like, oh man, this is silly. I used to really like this watch and it used to play music and now it's just dumb. Brr.
It reminds me of my brother, I think, is the thing about
Yeah.
it.
So he ends up pocketing it at one point.
Mhm.
Anyway, becomes relevant later, not relevant at the moment, but I realize that things are going to be a little confusing at the end if we don't
I mean,
bring it up.
that's what explanations are for.
Yep. But yes, so he's a keeper, gonna get takoyaki. All right, I want another serving. Oh no, she's gone.
Oh, what a shocker.
Here's a homeless guy. The homeless guy says, hey, you're Majima, right? Well, you're the guy with the eye patch, right? Like,
Give me that
here,
takoyaki.
give me the takoyaki and I'll give you information. He's like, what?
So yeah, Makoto told this homeless man to find Majima. He'll give him food and also to give him a message, and that she's got to do what she's got to do. Yep. So Majima is like, he eventually kind of figures out like, oh, she's gone to find Shibusawa to turn herself into Dojima and get her revenge. So Majima runs after her essentially and figures out where the meeting is. But before that, we see Dojima, his three lieutenants with Lao Gui. He congratulates Shibusawa on getting the owner of the empty lot. He's going to be the new family captain and everything. So everyone's got to be very, happy for him. Yay. Then eventually we see the meeting with Dojima and Makoto, who Makoto is like, I'll give you the empty lot. I don't want anything for it. The only thing I want, you murder all three of your lieutenants right here, right now.
You line up their heads in front of me. And both of us were like, the balls on this woman.
So Dojima kind of briefly considers it, but then it's like, no. Also, I don't need you to sell me the empty lot. If I just kill you right now,
that solves the problem.
That solves the problem, because the only thing the empty lot is a problem is that if the owner of it comes forward, it just throws a whole wrench into the redevelopment project, and it's just going to make things go through like courts and everything, and that's a big bummer. But if you're out of the way and you don't have any family left, it's no big deal. No skin off my back. Majima finds where they are and everything, fights his way through a bunch of dudes, and eventually gets all the way up to the top where he sees her. And then as soon as he is trying to come towards her, Lao Gui shoots her in the side at Dojima's request, and Dojima and everyone can just kind of walk off and go into a helicopter and leave. And then Majima is very upset.
Yeah, he kind of loses it.
And just beats the tar out of a bunch of folks, and just eventually he tries to save Makoto and everything, but a bunch of new dudes come up and are like walking towards him, and it's Sarah and his guys. And Sarah is like, "We're gonna get her to a hospital, and we're gonna fix this, Majima. We'll just you just gotta work with me here."
Yeah, Majima is. I think he's shirtless by this point, right?
Oh yeah,
And
this is definitely a pull your shirt off fight.
yeah, and so he's like on his knees, holding her hands, like
Just like begging
trying.
something to save her.
Yeah, it's like oh. And then Sarah shows up. It's like, all right, I am your savior.
We're going
Look
to
at me
go.
in my
We're going to
white
get her to a
outfit."
hospital. Do not
It's okay,
worry.
buddy. I got this. Which you get to see him like running with them when they're rushing her into surgery.
Mhm. Like he literally like stays outside of like the surgery area the whole time,
Yep,
just
the
like
whole time.
waiting and hoping something good's gonna happen. And then basically after they like eventually like a doctor comes out and it's like he's like, "Hey, is she gonna be all fine or anything?" And the doctor's like, "Are you family or anything?" He's like, I brought her in," and the doctor's like, "We got her out of surgery. She is she's
Stable.
she's stable, but she is not regained consciousness. We don't know when that will be, whether it'll be today, tomorrow, or ever."
Yep.
And then she also is like, "Is that good enough for you?" And like the camera pans back and Sarah's behind him.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
Yep.
We go to the penultimate chapter of the game, where Shibusawa is now like, "Hey, let's go murder all of the Kazuma family people."
Woo!
Yay. Kiryu eventually gets word of what happened from Sarah, and he's like, "Hey, Makoto got shot. She's survived, but things aren't great. I'm gonna keep her safe. At the hidden HQ of the Nikio Consortium in the Shibara Wharf. It's on a boat. Everything will be okay. Cool, right? I think, hopefully." Kiryu finds out that the Dojima family is coming after the Kazuma family, so he goes down there to save the family and everything. He's
On the boat.
not on the boat yet.
Oh darn.
He goes to the office and is stopped by Kuze, and then Kuze's like, "Hey, I gotta do this. Let's just fight it out right here, right now. Just us." So you fight Kuze one last time, and
Yep.
Kiryu's able to beat him again. Eventually, Nishiki and Kashiwagi are able to get out of the office and everything. They've defeated Kuze's men who are also inside. Kuze's like, "Yeah, I'm never going to beat this kid, am I? That sucks."
I keep trying and I keep failing.
He also warns them, like, "Hey, Shibusawa knows about Sarah's hidden base. He is mobilizing his men to go attack it now. You guys got to get there and make sure he doesn't do that." So Kiryu and Nishiki head off to go fend that off. Kashiwagi goes up to gather more reinforcements to help stop at this and everything. Majima tries to head off to the Dojima family office and is interrupted by Sagawa and his dudes. Majima's like, "Hey, I'm going to do this." Sagawa's like, "Yeah, I don't know if you would do that. That could have very bad consequences for Shimano's idea of what he wants and everything." Majima's like, "I don't give a off.
Yeah. I'm doing it.
I'm doing this. You're not stopping me." So Kiryu, Nishiki, and Kashiwagi arrive at the boat. Or is it the boat, or is this? I think this is the boat. Yeah, this is the boat. So they go on they fight through the boat. A bunch of dudes just fighting. You fight through a lot of dudes.
A lot of dudes. Nishiki at one point is like, "I'm gonna hang back and shoot at these guys. You go ahead."
And then you have to fight a bunch more dudes. Shibusawa eventually finds Makoto and like wheels her out onto like the deck of the boat. And it's like, "Hey, you're gonna stay here while I fight Kiryu."
Yeah.
Shibusawa explains that like, "Oh, this is my time to finally shine because I wasn't as charismatic as these other guys. Now I get the recognition for what I done. Yay!
Yay!
You're not gonna stop me." And Kiryu's like, "No, I'm gonna stop you."
Yeah.
So you fight Shibusawa as the last fight as Kiryu, and you beat him, and then you're able to rescue Makoto.
Yay.
On Majima's side, he fights his way through the Dojima office. It's Not
beating up so many dudes.
beating up a lot of dudes, but there's not as many because like they're scattered as well because they're off doing other stuff to
Yeah.
find the Kazuma family, and also they're at the Nikio base and everything. He eventually fights his way up to the Dojima's office where it's being guarded by Awano, and Awano knows who Majima is and everything. So like they have this like talk about what it means to be a Yakuza now, and Awano is just like, why would you do all this much for someone you don't really know? It's real weird. And Majima's like, man, I just want to live dangerously.
Shrug shoulders.
So Awano fights Majima and eventually loses, and it's kind of like, you're like the Yakuza of old. You're not like those Yakuza who are just like, well, I'm just gonna put my feet up and just have all this excess everything, and yeah, you're all right, kid. And then Lao Gui comes up and just like murders Awano.
Yep, just shanks him.
So you have to beat up Lao Gui as the next fight, and then you beat him up, and then Dojima's like, oh god, oh no, what do I do? Majima's gonna kill Lao Gui, but is stopped by Sarah, who shows up and is like, Dojima, you've already lost. You're not getting the empty lot.
Son, you don't want to kill that guy. Trust me. He's a really important assassin.
Yeah, we were going to use him as a witness and everything for all this. Also, I'm the owner of the empty lot now. Makoto signed it over to me.
Yep.
After she was rescued by Kiryu.
Yep.
And then like Majima's just like kind of just like lost and everything, and Sarah's like, what are you going to do now? And Majima's like, meh. I don't know. I'll figure it out. So then you get the epilogue where
I hurt.
you hurt, yes. Dojima's getting removed from the Kamurocho revitalization project. It is being given to Sarah because he was able to acquire the empty lot. He is being made the clan captain. And basically also Sarah's going to become the third chairman once the acting chairman's gone.
Yep.
And Dojima's at this meeting just like, roll set. Real mad.
Real not happy.
Majima beats up Sagawa one last time, and they say their goodbyes. Sagawa's impressed that Majima was able to survive through everything. Majima tells him that, hey, having to deal with your crap made me figure out how it is to live like an actual Yakuza. Also, I don't ever want to see you again. We also see this is the debut of Majima, and it's like his regular look from now on.
Oh man, about that. It's so upsetting that he goes from like that look to this look, because like dude was straight up hot before. Like he had this like sweet long ponytail and he had the suit. Like the shoes were a little ridiculous, but I gave him a pass on that.
It was the 80s.
But like, yeah, it was the 80s. Like he had a nice face. He was right. He was handsome. And then he straight up does this, and he's like, all right, I'm just going to go shirtless with a snakeskin jacket. I'm going to go straight up with leather pants, leather gloves. Also, I'm going to just cut my hair off and look stupid, and it's basically a bowl cut with, like, shaved under parts, which I told you, I was like, I'm pretty sure what he did is just take his ponytail and cut it straight up and then shave a little bit under that.
Yeah, probably.
It's so bad. It's so bad. It's so upsetting.
So yeah,
at least he doesn't grow the bad facial hair yet.
It's true. So yeah, Majima walks off, and Sagawa's a little like, I'm gonna miss that kid, and then immediately is confronted by Hitman and murdered.
Which I was pretty happy about. He deserved it. He's been a butt the whole time.
Well, you're not wrong.
I was just waiting for him to get his come up, and he finally did. Majima doesn't even know about it. I'm sure he does eventually, but like you don't just have a guy go missing and nobody hears about it.
Yeah. We go to a scene in Serena where Kiryu tells Nishiki and Reina that he's going back to the Dojima family. And they're like, what do you mean? Why would you do that? And Kiryu's like, I can't do it. The civilian life's not for me. Look into the camera. They're like, did you talk to Kazuma about this? And there's a scene also where like Kiryu goes to Kazuma in prison. He's like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. And he's like, cool. All right. See you when I'm out of prison. So yeah, Kiryu is going back to the family and everything. And also we see Kiryu in his normal attire, where Nishiki's like, man, you should have kept that white suit. That white suit was fresh. Kiryu's like, I don't know, I like this one.
This was out of
Nishiki's like,
style.
no, this will never catch on.
He's like, I like this one.
And then we get some time pass where Majima is reinstated back into the Shimano family. He's got his own like crew now, and we also see some people who are harassing Makoto and the doctor that she was with at the end of the game. Makoto's like, don't worry, I'll go find help. I'll take care of this and everything.
I'll handle this.
Yeah.
She slapped some dudes.
So like,
Once again, proving she has the biggest balls of
Yeah.
anybody in this game.
so like they're trying to get rough with her, and then Majima shows up, and they're like, oh, boss, we found this girl, and yeah, she's gonna be real cool.
You want to turn?
And they're like, oh, don't you know who this is? This is the legendary Maj. Bam! And he just
Bleh.
punches the dude who was talking, and then punches the other guy.
Knocks him out.
Yeah. And Makoto's like, what is happening? This other guy shows up and talks to the doctor. He's like, I'll go figure out what's going on. So he comes over and is like trying to get Majima away from Makoto because he doesn't know the context of the situation and everything. And Majima kind of picks up what's happening and like pulls this guy aside and is like, is that your girl? And the guy's like, what do you mean? What I don't know what you're talking about. What?
She's my patient.
She's my patient. I'm a doctor. And then like he's like, do you love her?
You're like, dude, cut the bullshit.
I'm like, oh, no. And he clenches his fist and like Majima's like, yeah, your fists kind of tell your story here. He's like, look, take care of the girl, tell her your feelings, do this for both of us. And the guy's like, huh, what? And then like Majima's like pats him on the back and like throws him back to Makoto as he walks off. And then the guy goes back to Makoto and she's like, what do you guys talk about? And he's like, oh, this is nothing. And then Makoto's like, that guy's eye, there was a real sadness in it as she watches him walk away.
And hurt me.
Because he does not tell her who he is because he doesn't want her wrapped up in this life.
He doesn't want her to hear his voice because he knows it. She'd recognize it, and she doesn't know his name or what he looks like because she never actually like saw him, and he apparently never mentioned his name in the whole thing, which I didn't realize that no one said his name at all around her, which is wild.
Yep. And then we get a post-credit scene.
Yep.
With Makoto returning to the empty lot. She leaves some flowers for Tachibana as she's like saying, she's like talking about kind of like everything that happened. She's like, oh, you know, everything happened because, you know, I met Kiryu, I met Lee, and then there's also just one guy I met who I met that guy. I didn't get his name or anything, but he saved me. And if I wouldn't be here because of him, or I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him and everything. And then while she's saying that, like you hear like a musical chime play and like she's like, wait a minute. She starts scrambling around, sees like this newly dug in part of the dirt and like digs through it. There's like a folded up thing in it, and she opens it up and it's her watch that's been repaired and fixed. And she realizes who it's from. It's like just breaks down at the very end there.
Same. Man.
And then the final scene, of course, is we return to the streets of Kamurocho where Majima is walking. And then he stops in his place and sees someone he recognizes, and the camera turns, and another man is walking towards him, and it's Kiryu. And then Majima's like, yo. And just yells Kiryu in his very over-exaggerated voice that he has for like the rest of the series.
Yep.
And then it cuts back to Kiryu as he smirks. Which is, again, very wild that like this entire game, they set this up as like the deuteragonist of these two. And they don't meet until the very last scene in the game.
Post credits. Yeah. It's wild.
But that's Yakuza 0.
It hurt me so much. Man. A lot happened here.
A whole lot happened here.
I will have you know, I have gone to see if there is any fanfic where they do get together, and there is.
Oh my god.
That
is not surprising in the slightest.
Yay! I understand his reasoning. I really
Yeah.
do, because like he wants her to be safe, he wants her to be happy, and he's like, all right, this doctor man can do it. I believe in him. But it also just hurts me.
The pain.
It hurts so much.
Do you want to hear some trivia about this game?
Yeah, Nugget exists.
Oh man, pour one out for Nugget.
Poor whatever Nugget. He's probably dead.
Poor guy. This is the first Yakuza game to not feature the Florist of Sai, Haruka Sawamura, or Makoto Date. It is also the first one where Goro Majima is not fought as a boss, though he is now playable for the first time as well, after appearing in a non-playable capacity for the first 5 games, excluding the playable Majima saga that is exclusive to the remake of Yakuza 2, which was released after Yakuza 0. This is also the first game to not feature the Millennium Tower. This is because the tower didn't exist in 1988 and was built during the 17-year period separating Yakuza 0 and the rest of the series. Central to this game's conflict, however, is the empty lot, which is part of the land on which the tower was built.
We do get like hey, important things happen in 95, 2005, and also the Millennium Tower gets
essentially
built.
like there's like a big like info dump that is like, here is everything that happens from the end of Yakuza 0 up to the beginning of Yakuza Kiwami or Yakuza 1. It's basically like, hey, go play Yakuza 1 after this. So you know what's happening afterwards. The first and final long battle, i.e. extended sequences of battles against non-boss enemies of the game, both take place in the same location. First one in the first chapter of the game takes place in the Dojima family building, is done by Kiryu. The final chapter of the game, and also the final gameplay in the game before the final boss sequence takes place in the same building, is done by Majima.
Huh.
It's bookended.
Nice.
But yeah, that's Yakuza 0. Al,
yep. I got real into it.
You did get very into it. You were real into this game, which I'm excited. I was very excited about. Because I was hoping you would just dive into the series and get very excited about it. And now you have dived into the series and gotten very excited about it.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Wild.
One game in.
Well, 1.5.
1.5, yes. But your first full game.
Yes, my first full game. It was fantastic. Very, very good. I enjoyed all the characterizations. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed all the dramatic shirt throws off. The side plots were fun. The sexy videos were fun. Mr. Libido was fun. Mr. Libido and Kamurocho wasn't as fun.
No, it's unfortunate.
It's kind of lame. But yeah, this was a heckin' good game.
Yeah.
I'm in too deep now, buddy. I'm in too deep.
Yakuza 0 is just, it's a very, very good game.
It is a very
Especially
good
going
game.
back to it, like I was impressed at just like how much it still is just super, super good. So.
Also, again, Majima's fighting style is insane, and he can do stuff like catch a sword with his teeth.
As you do. It's real fun. Casually just catching swords with your teeth, Why wouldn't you do that?
Might be bad on your teeth. Also, if you miss, they're just going to cut through your head.
Who's to say?
I can see plenty of downsides there.
Debatable.
Rip to handsome Majima. He will never be seen again.
Never ever.
Sad.
Well, do you have any final thoughts about Yakuza 0 before we wrap up?
No, but I'm stoked to talk about 1.
Well, there you go. Good tease for next time.
And how we are building on the foundation we have got now.
Yes.
This is the empty lot of the rest of the series that we are going to start talking about.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode. So if you'd like more from us, go to seasonlanimecheckup.com or sac.cool is where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Season Anime Checkup and Jared Now Watch. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Anne Ladyem, go to anneladyem.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/animecheckup. You can buy our books, One Shining Moment, A Critical Analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, and Hot Tubs and Pac-Man on Amazon.com. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. Buy us a slice of pizza, get access to unedited versions of the podcast early, bonus episodes, all sorts of fun, good stuff. Next time, we will continue with Al experiencing the Yakuza series by talking about Yakuza Kiwami.
Yay!
The PS4 remake of Yakuza 1. And also maybe talk about that Nintendo Direct that happened, if anything real wild happens.
Oh yeah.
Because we can't talk about it today. Because it hasn't
No,
happened.
it happened. It's in the future.
Yes. But in the past, when you hear this, that's how time works. But either way, if anything big happens on that or anything interesting, we'll talk about it there next week. So there you go. And then, yeah, Yakuza Kiwami.
Yay!